Hey everyone and welcome to SkillCapped. My name is Dr. Zora and in today's video, we're going to be reviewing the best agents for every map in patch 2.09. The map you're playing on plays a huge role in how you want to approach your play. Different maps have different features that allow certain agents to shine over others, and it's important to know this so that you can pick the best agents possible to give yourself the best chance of winning. There are multiple good agents for each map, but we're going to really break down to 2 to 3 of the best agents to help narrow down the options and make it easier for you to pick. So without further ado, let's jump right into it. Jumping right into our question of the day for y'all, which map do you like to play the most? Unfortunately, we aren't able to select which map we want to play in our games, but there's always a certain map that gets you hyped, and there may be maps that make you, well, less hyped. Let us know which one of the current maps gets you amped up, and you may find that you enjoy certain agents because they do well on your favorite maps. First up, we have Bind. The agents that really shine on Bind are the ones who can really take advantage of the teleporters. For starters, Omen is a phenomenal pick on this map, as he can play endless mind games onto enemies. A popular way to mess with enemies is by performing a fake teleport. You can do this by simply jumping into the teleporter, and mid-jump you activate the ability right before you teleport. This will cause the teleport sound to activate while you don't actually go through it. If you mess with enemies enough with this, you can also do a real TP eventually to catch them off guard. While Omen's TP fakes are certainly tricky to deal with, he's also able to set up one-way smokes effectively on this map to force players to slow down. A common one-way smoke that is thrown is on top of the boxes on A short, which will make players second guess whether they want to push through it. Despite his pick rate dropping with the addition of Astra and the recent Viper buffs, Omen still remains the most top pick controller for this map, and rightfully so due to his abilities meshing so well with Bind. Next is Raze, who has one of the highest pick rates on the map at 16.6% in Radiant. Similar to Omen, Raze has multiple abilities that can go through the teleporter, allowing her to essentially cover 2 areas at once. You can use her boombot to go down A short, or you can send it through the TP to clear out B short. Likewise, you can also chuck a grenade through TP to hit players in hookah, or just straight up send your ultimate through it if your enemies call for it. The versatility of Raze's abilities really shines on Bind and allows you to cover more ground than you normally could with other agents on the map. Lastly, we have an agent that may surprise you, and that is Brimstone. While Brimstone isn't necessarily a very popularly picked agent on the map, it's picked more commonly on this map compared to others, and let's break down why. Brimstone's ultimate is incredibly powerful at trapping enemies that are in close corridor positions, and Bind is filled with these positions. This includes showers, U-haul, elbow, and hookah. Some players will choose to ult these positions right at the start of the round, and if there is a player there, they're actually going to be stuck and will take massive damage or get heavily hurt. This, along with how easy it is for Brimstone to land good smokes quickly and efficiently, along with being able to peek common plant spots to throw a quick molly, Brimstone remains a menace on this map. At the Radiant rank, Brimstone boasts a shockingly high win rate of 64% during this act, which far exceeds any other agent on Bind or any other win rate that we've seen on an agent at all. Make sure you don't sleep on Brimstone, as he can absolutely dominate here. Speaking of dominating, if you want to climb the ranks quickly and absolutely dominate the competition like you've never seen before, then go to skillcapped.com to unlock our hyper improvement system that will teach you everything you need to blast through the rankings in Valorant. The link will be provided in the description below. Next up is Haven, and an absolute must pick on here is Jet. Haven is essentially one of Jet's playgrounds. With how many platforms and containers Jet can boost up onto, there are several surprise angles that can be played to catch players off guard. The choke points on Haven are also well set up so that Jet can make aggressive plays and get out for free by simply running away or dashing. Combine this with an operator and you are golden. You'll be able to get picks all around the map with little counterplay possible. The amount of picks that can be obtained is incredible, which is why she is absolutely a must-have agent to dominate on this map. Next, we have Sova. With Haven being such a big map, getting information is crucial, otherwise you'll be too far spread out to be able to properly attack or defend a site. No one does it better than Sova. With his recon bolt and owl drone, Sova is able to scout down several parts of the map and relay that information to help reposition his teammates early. This then helps to properly set up for an attacker push or to properly pick the best site to push. Lastly, we have Sage. With there being 3 sites for the enemies to hit, having a wall that can block off major choke points is huge to give your team more focus. For example, walling off the B site allows your team to split up between the A site and C site. Essentially, it puts you in a scenario as if there were only 2 sites, which makes the map much easier to defend. Likewise, a really strong Sage wall can be placed vertically onto garage door, and with this wall, the enemy has to shoot through multiple layers of the wall to get by, and there's no way to jump through it. Like the wall on B, it opens up room for your team to play other positions and better fortify the defense over there and have less areas to worry about. Going on, we have Icebox, and the agent that absolutely shines on this map is Viper. There are a large, and I mean large, number of Viper lineups and wall setups that can be created on this map, which is why Viper does so well here. She can block off huge chunks of spike sites, making it easier to get the plant down, and can easily defend the spike site with good snakebite lineups in combination with her smoke cloud, which, while nerfed, still does a whopping 30 damage off the bat along with the decay over time. If you're able to learn multiple setups, you'll be giving the enemies an incredibly difficult time with Viper. Next up is Jet. Jet's mobility works so well on this map. She's able to reach multiple off angles with her jump and also be able to push aggressively while having a dash to back off onto. Similar to Haven, Icebox is a huge map and grabbing early picks can be crucial not only for a man advantage but also to gather early intel on where enemy players are. Jet is the best at making these aggressive plays for picks and intel without the risk of getting picked off like other agents that don't have this escape route. With that being said, we're moving on to Ascent. The two best agents on this map without a doubt are Sova and Killjoy. Sova is an absolute monster on the B site when holding an Odin. The Odin can spray through the B garage walls like butter, and with the help of Sova's recon bolt, this task becomes incredibly easy. If any players get tagged by the recon bolt in garage, they're essentially dead meat. With how fast the Odin sprays and how movement speed is drastically reduced if you get hit, there's essentially no escape from this combo unless you're able to shoot down the dart before it triggers. Even then, the bullet noise you make can allow good Sova players to line up their crosshairs and still destroy you. There are also multiple lineups for recon bolts that you can do to identify enemies in areas that are wallbangable. The second most common position is in Hell, and with the right lineup you can shoot right through heaven to kill a player that's trying to hide under there. Killjoy is also another insane agent on Ascent. She's able to hold down lane on the B site like a beast. Most players won't really have the time to run down the lane and slowly shoot down her utility. If placed properly down here and with a turret nearby to alarm you that attackers are pushing, you can trigger your abilities quickly to slow down the push or catch enemies mid-run where they'll be heavily lit before they get onto the site, and then you can easily finish them off. Not only is Killjoy good on the B site, but she can also switch over to defend the A site, where it can make things even harder for attackers as Killjoy can constantly switch sites and keep the enemies guessing. These two agents have so much versatility on a map like Ascent, and if we look at the current statistics during this time on the VCT Masters tournament, both Killjoy and Sova have an astounding 100% pick rate because of this. If you don't have these two agents on your team on Ascent, you're doing yourself a disservice. We're going to get into the new map Breeze in just a moment, but we still have Split. Breeze is one of the most powerful agents on this map, as the map really sets itself well for easy satchel plays to outmaneuver enemies. For example, two easy to do satchel plays that can be done on the map is by placing a satchel onto rafters on the B site and then running forward and triggering that satchel and a second one immediately afterwards. In a blink of an eye, you're going to be in enemy back lines and you can get easy shots. Similarly, you can throw one satchel from a short to bounce up onto heaven. Most players won't expect this, and as a result, you'll be able to catch them easily off guard. Split is also set up in a manner where the rest of Raze's utility can be easily bounced off of walls or straight up thrown down to catch players, and as a result, she's very easy to use on the map and a monster when practicing the satchel plays. This is why she has a 14.6% pick rate on the map. The most commonly picked agent here with a pick rate of 16.4% is Sage. Sage's wall is just, well, solid on this map. You'll mostly see it thrown in middle, which is great to decrease the attacker's ability to create split pushes and lurks, but the choke points in Split are designed in a way that Sage's walls and slow orbs perfectly block it. For example, other fantastic walls include walling off the entrance to A towers or B garage. Usually Sage will play middle and have enough time to get in position to throw these down and have it fortified before attackers can see it. This helps with stalling, and if you are too slow to the site, then you can also whip out your slow orbs to slow enemies that way and delay the push. And we're now down to our last map, Breeze. This is a fairly new map and is definitely subject to a constantly changing meta. What we found to be the best agents at this time are Jet and Reyna, which have incredibly high pick rates of 21.8% and 18%. Breeze is one of the biggest maps in Valorant, and as a result, it's hard to cover everything when going for a site hit. As a result, you're going to find yourself in much more aim duels in order to both attack or defend. This is where both Jet and Reyna shine. With the map being so big, Jet can utilize her updraft and dash to get into off-angle positions, go for a pick, and then dash out safely. Particularly with the map being so big, if an operator falls into her hands, she can go even more aggressive and get early picks for free, again being able to dash to safety afterwards. Similarly, Reyna can really dominate on a large map such as Breeze. With how open of a map Breeze is, Reyna is capable of throwing her blinds in a manner where it's incredibly difficult to dodge due to the lack of cover. As a result, she can go for aggressive picks with it, and if necessary, she has her dismissed to get out afterwards. With Breeze, you're going to find yourself in lengthy long-range engagements, and being able to fight and repetitively heal afterwards is crucial since you're likely to take damage during these longer duels. Reyna can then quickly replenish and go hunting for another victim while still having full health or close to full health. She can really go on a rampage with her heals, and if she's confident in getting at least one kill, she can dismiss safely and reposition for another. Her dueling power is like no other on Breeze, and this is why she is rocking a 58.3% win rate on the map. Alright, if you haven't already, make sure to comment what map you like to play the most, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon to get more premium guides just like this one with one goal in mind, helping you become a better player. We here at SkillCapped want to thank you for watching. We'll catch you in the next. I'm Dr. Zora, and good luck out there.